Hello, hello, hello. I am here. I'm sorry I'm running almost 10 minutes late. I'm so sorry. I just had to do a couple things. And I'm going to be honest with you. My spirit was heavy today. I cried a few times. I was all over the place. I had to get in the word and just get myself together, gear myself up. That's why I planned to do all these videos today and put them out. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to put it off and I'm just going to do a live stream. We're just going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that I have been wanting to talk about. Right. So that's what we do here. So thank you guys for being here. And then also, they're like hitting me with demonetizing my videos, copywriting them, all types of things, and I have to dispute them. But then it's just like craziness. I know the channel is being attacked. And it's just so crazy that happens. So any support you guys give, any support, just being here, I appreciate it because, guys, it encourages me. Like, y'all really don't understand when I read your comments and things. I don't reply to everything. I try to like as much as I can because digesting all of this information, guys, I'm like you. I'm not some pastor. I'm not some preacher. I'm not some, just a regular person, right? I still have real life things that go on and just, a time of reflection, repentance for me, just looking over my life and just, I think the hardest thing for me right now, I will say, is like, it's not like I had all these plans, but that's like kind of what always kept me going. That, like, I'll do this in the future, I'll do that in the future, or my children, and this will happen, that will happen. And it's just like, just to understand that, like, my plans don't make a difference. Like, my timing is not God's timing, right? And so it's just reconciling that. It's weird. Like I told you, like my especially my oldest daughter, she started looking at a few things that a lot of the things I talk about. She's so wise, like brilliant, Mensa level IQ. I tell people, like, she was like 2 points over Einstein. When she took the test, she literally takes IQ tests for fun. So, but she's always been this way, and it's just a gift to have someone. She was born on Christmas Day. If you guys don't know, she was born on Christmas Day. So she will be 15 on Christmas. And it's just amazing how God uses, your children, like people who have not been mired with things in this world, right? So as they see things or they learn things or they hear me talk about something or they're just discovering on their own, it's kind of like they just accept it. They're just like, oh, Jesus come back. I mean, that's how it was always supposed to be. So what, like, it's like they're not married and wed to this world. That's the innocence of children, even teenagers. I know teenagers do a lot of things foolish, but I've been blessed with amazing, amazing children who just, I mean, they're saving my life. And so I just want to share that little anecdote about myself, because the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm seeing, if I did not have the Lord, I don't know where I would be. I would be devastated. It literally. And then I just realized my appetite has to change. Like when the children of Israel were in the wilderness and they were used to manna, right? They put themselves in the wilderness for 40 years after they were enslaved. So they in Egypt, even though they were set free, they did not suffer the plagues, the wrath that came over Egypt. They saw God move over and over and over again. They still kept themselves in the wilderness, but God still provided in the wilderness, even in their own foolishness, even in their unbelief. God provided. And so, but what happened was, for them to enter the promised land, their appetites had to change. When you're used to eating manna for 40 years, well, and you're going to the promised land, where the land of milk and honey, where goodness and everything you could want will be there. It's almost like you've conditioned yourself to be here. You know what I mean? To believe in the things they told you to believe in, to the American dream and all of these things. And it's like an appetite change. It's like that's the only way I can describe it. Like God is getting me ready, like changing my appetite day by day. Like I know what's going to happen. I talk to you guys about it. I encourage you about it. But there's also a work in me. I'm not some authority. I'm not special. What I do, you can do. Right? God has given all of us talents, gifts, abilities, or just really, this isn't even talent. This is just the Lord wants to use each one of us. So I want to, I don't know who needs to hear that, but I wanted to start it out with that because don't think I'm over here just living my best life and just, oh, I report this and then I'm done. Like, guys, I'm going through the same journey. I, the, a lot of some of the people closest to me don't want to hear about it. I find myself like invited to like a ugly Christmas sweater party or different things. And it's just like, it's like I find myself like I know what's going to happen. Like I don't want to overwhelm people. I don't want to just be talking about this. That's what I say. So I just find myself I just rather be just to myself, And I think, but I do think that that process, that isolation is needed in order to transform your mind, in order to change your appetite, in order to grow you, to enlighten you. Because most people operate here, not meaning they're less than, but meaning it's a base level of thinking about needs, about they react on emotion, they react on their desires, and like a base level function is Maslow's hierarchy of needs and consciousness. There's a whole lot to go into it, but I will say growing, enlightenment, moving up in your consciousness. And I don't say that like to be new age, but the Bible talks about this, being renewed in your mind. And to do that, you have to break what was so that you can enter in. So it can, you need to break out of it, break out. And when people say break out of your shell, literally it, and when say a baby chick breaks out of its shell, it's being born. But something has to break first. And I feel as though when we're here, we're kind of in that little egg, and it needs to expand, set us free. But it's a painful process. That some will call it the dark soul of the night. But that process is necessary. So any fear, pain, you worry, whatever it may be that you are feeling, understand that is part of the process. But weeping only endures for a night. Joy comes in the morning, and it may not. Listen, the night may last a while. Okay, so we don't mean like a literal night, but joy will come. I usually wake up, my stomach is in knots. I've been working on that because my brain will be hyperactive of all the things I've learned. And I don't know if that's just I'm being flooded with knowledge. I do feel like this is happening to me at a rapid pace, like I'm being bombarded, and part of me because all this stuff is happening at once. But at the same time, I do think because I was backslidden for so long, I was a lukewarm Christian for so long, I was fighting my calling for so long, I was not listening to what God wanted. I was at a time in my life, but through circumstances, I let life pull me away from that relationship. And so because we are so close to the end, God is like having to like boom, 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 fire these things off to me. There's other people who've been awake for, decades. I see the comments all the time, and they're just like, welcome to the party. And I just say, for some reason I was woken up now, and now I'm just been overloaded with it all. Right. Like it's downloading. Okay. It's downloading, and it's just the realization. So I wanted to just share that because I know a lot of people are anxious or are going through that same process, and just know you're not alone. Just know I go through it the same way, but I have to continue to walk in faith despite my feelings, despite what day I had, despite how, whatever's going on me internally. I know without a doubt, I always, always feel renewed when I do what God has called me to do, regardless of everything else. There would be times I just don't want to film it. I don't want to do anything. I just want to, I don't want to do it. but it's not about my feelings. It's about what God has said. And that is walking in faith. Despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite life circumstances, you continue to walk. Okay. All right. So, oh, sorry. Is this picture disturbing you guys? Sorry. This is what is in Times Square. This is what I wanted to start talking about. We got a couple things to get through. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. I don't think Jordan is here, probably because I'm late and I don't always have a moderator. So I'll be checking. I have not added new moderators. I need to, but I just need to know who I'm adding, what you believe, and all of these other things. I'll After this, I'll try to go back through the chat, see people what they're saying, and try to compare it, and really let the Lord lead me on who should be a moderator. My goal is to have a bunch of moderators so that, like, if you happen to catch a live stream, well, you can pop in and help me out. So one thing I'm going to ask you to refrain from is cursing at people, getting into fights with people. It's just it's childish. We're better than that. We're different than that. And if somebody comes in and starts doing those things, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat and make sure I see those things, because if you disagree with something, you don't like something, whatever it is, there's no need to, if you find yourself being angry and wanting to fight somebody, you're in the flesh. You're in the flesh, and you're not operating at your best self. You're not enlightened. So we want to rise above that. I know people are going to be people. Some people will pop in and not hear this message, but I hope we can do that and build community and not just, you know what I mean? Like, some of us, we believe different things. We believe different things, and that's okay. That is okay, guys. You don't have to force it on anybody. You don't have to fight, right? Because once we do that, it just destroys our argument. I've done that in the past. And it helps nothing. It helps nothing. But that's like the way of the world right now, right? To debate and curse people out and tell them they're stupid and, are you dumb? Are you like, I see it constantly. I think X is like the ground zero for that. And so I think these people have been conditioned, like this is just how things are. But I just understand you're feeding into how they want you to be. They've created this tension and this hatred and this anger, and then they've stressed us out. They've done all this different stuff. Let me stop playing this. I'm so sorry. Okay. And they want us fighting. Like I always say, they want us fighting like roaches. They don't want us to have a higher consciousness. They don't want us to be awake. They want us indoctrinated and asleep. They want us sheep to just, and the way they poison us with the food, the chemtrails, just even vaccines, even through childhood, just what they teach us, everything is designed to make us broke, angry, sad, hating each other. Just everything to be what God has called you to be. Everything is designed that way. There is not one thing good of this world. This is what the Bible says, the ruler of this world is Satan. So how can anything, any country, any place, they condition us to believe that. But see, that's the great deception. It takes self-control and enlightenment to not react in that way. It does. And it's difficult. It's difficult at first, but then it gets easy because you enjoy it. It's more peaceful. And you know that you're doing the right thing. But here we go. They want us hating each other, right? Like, I fell into it many times. And sorry, I'm drinking Icelandic water. I'm trying it in a can. It's actually really good. It's better than plastic because, microplastics. Guys, I'm telling you, everything poisons us. We're going to get to a lot of things tonight. We're not just going to talk about this, but I wanted to, let's look at this. So UFO bombshell. Let me move things. Guys, I got different screens and I got to move it around. Here we go. So like I said, I'll pop in and out of chat. If you have a conversation, I think I'll try to do a Q&A, but if you have a specific question you want me to see, you're going to have to super chat it, guys, because I just can't get to it all. All right. So that just helps me to focus in on that. But it says UFO bombshell is Spielberg's disclosure, the government's green light for alien reveal. The hype is real. Times Square billboards screaming, "All will be disclosed" by Steven Spielberg's mystery UFO epic dropping June 12th, 2026. Let me open this up. Stars like Emily Blunt and Colin Firth, John Williams scoring. This isn't just a movie, it's a message. And it goes more into it. But guys, out of the blue, this popped up in Times Square. You guys saw it running over and over, so I don't need to keep playing it. Right. And people are saying it looks like an alien. Some people say it looks like a bird. Clearly, to me, it looks like reptilian and an alien, but I don't believe in aliens. Okay. And they just don't exist. They're fallen angels, demons. That's what it is. That is what it is. And so they call it UFOs. They call it that. We've gone over that before, but I want to take you to something because this movie is very weird. We've had alien movies, we've had things like that before, but this one is very unique because it's like a top secret movie no one knew about. It's very bizarre. I'm gonna play a video in a second, but then also they just did a documentary called Age of Disclosure that just came out last month, all while 3i Atlas, which 3i Atlas will be here on the 19th, which I think is Friday. Well, closest to Earth on the 19th. But now NASA says that their whatever they had that was taking pictures, they lost it, it broke or something, so they can't take the pictures anymore. So they can't share anything else. That's interesting, right? That's interesting. But they just had Age of Disclosure, which is a documentary with government officials in it, like Marco Rubio, basically saying that yes, there are aliens, there are unidentified objects, whatever, that these things exist. This just came out a month ago, and now we're getting these billboards. One in Times Square, they're popping up in different places about this. We've never had that correlation before. Some will say it's Project Bluebeam. Okay, I know all about that. I did a video on it. I don't know if it was a live stream or a video, but we talked about it before. So I understand, I know these things, but they're preparing for something. We're seeing there's literally every government is getting protested and none of our news channels are talking about it or reporting it. Digital ID is rolling out everywhere. There's just all this AI stuff coming out. Like it's like war, like everyone's gearing up for war. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're seeing attacks, terrorist attacks, different things happening around. Some things are real, some things are psyops. It's just, we are being bombarded with 1,000 things at once. And it's like it's designed so we don't have peace. So we can't really focus in on what we should be looking at. So then they have this Age of Disclosure, and I don't see many people tying it to this top secret Steven Spielberg movie. Isn't that strange? That like that's not being talked about. That's not being. It's just weird that the government would put that out, and then we have this in 3i Atlas. There's volcanoes. There is unprecedented seismic activity going on right now. We're seeing flooding. People are being evacuated. Tsunamis, earthquakes. Albino animals are popping up everywhere. It's just, guys, there's a lot of wild things, but let's get into this. So let me add this in. I'm going to make myself smaller so you guys can see this. And let's make this bigger so it fits the screen. Hold on 1 second. Hi, guys. How are you? How was your Sunday? How was your Sunday? All right. We got it a little bigger. So I'm going to play this. This is John Campea. He is a very well-known, very famous movie critic. And so I just want you to hear this discussion about this because I thought it was interesting because there is no trailer out for it yet. These billboards just popped out of nowhere. All right. And we're going to get into predictive programming and a bunch of other stuff that's going on.
Rob, I don't know.
Actually, let me make it louder. I don't know if that'll help.
Rob, I don't know that in my lifetime, I can recall a major motion picture from one of the biggest directors and filmmakers in the world had a movie coming out in 6 months that we knew nothing about. But that is kind of the case right now with the upcoming Steven Spielberg film that's set to come out on June 12th. And we still don't know nothing. There are reports going around that it's some kind of a UFO movie, but it needs to be stated here. Steven Spielberg ain't ever said that. The studio never said it was a UFO movie.
Does the studio even know what it's about?
I don't even know if the studio knows about it. I've been told, and I can't verify the veracity of this, I've been told that the head of the studio, Donna Langley, has not been allowed to see the dailies of this film. When does that ever happen? Now,
do you understand dailies? So dailies is whatever they shot that day, whatever they filmed. But the studio executives have not been shown it. They're not allowed to see it. No one heard of this movie. It just literally popped up today. Not today, but I think yesterday or day before. Like Hollywood insiders, people like him, he usually gets, they know about the development. There was no mention of a development of this movie. I don't know of any writers. There's no information. And this pops up a month after the age of disclosure, government-backed, government-featured UFO documentary where they're confirming that there's UFOs. All while Three Eye Atlas and all this is going on in the world. Don't you find that strange? He said in his entire career, this man's been doing it decades. I've been looking at different reviews. People are just like, huh? We've never seen something like this before. Don't dismiss that, guys. You learn, they always tell you what they're doing, and they tell you what they're doing, not just in disclosing it, with the things we're going to talk about tonight and going back over their words throughout the years, but it's when they start doing things differently, when it's unusual, when it's very confusing, which is what is happening with Three Eye Atlas right now. NASA's confused. All these astronomers and scientists are just baffled. They tried to shut down anyone talking about it. So it's not just what they do, but if you have discernment, you'll be able to say, what are they not doing? Why are they doing this different? Why? See, and that's when you're enlightened. You can think on those levels. Most people will just bypass that and just keep on going, keep scrolling. But understand, there's a message for you. If something just doesn't quite hit you right, something that just says, wait, what? All right, so let's keep going.
Maybe that's not true. I'm just saying that's what I've been told, that Donna Langley herself is not the dailies of this film.
Wait, I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
Has not been allowed to see the dailies of this film.
Sorry, I want to rewind it because I want to make sure everybody really, this is emphasized.
Does the studio even know what it's about?
I don't even know if the studio knows about it. I've been told, and I can't verify the veracity of this, I've been told that the head of the studio, Donna Langley, has not been allowed to see the dailies of this film. When does that ever happen? Now, maybe that's not true. I'm just saying that's what I've been told, that Donna Langley herself has not seen the dailies of this movie. But we've gotten our first peek when this billboard has popped up in New York City, and apparently they've started to pop up in other places as well. An upside down eye that looks like it's from The Ring with the words, "All will be disclosed, Spielberg, June 12th, 2026. Spielberg, 2026. Now, a couple things. And Rob and I were talking about this before the show. So it's some pasty white human eye upside down. I don't know why I don't hear more people saying the obvious. The silhouette is of a bird.
Yeah.
So that's clearly something that's going to have some kind of significance to this. I think the title is revealed in there when it says all will be disclosed. I think the title is going to be disclosed or disclosure. One of the two. I think the title is going to be, I don't know that.
They already made a movie called Disclosure.
We've had other movies with the same title, so who knows? But nobody's told me this, no insider information. I'm just guessing the title will be called Disclosed, but we'll see. Here is my out there theory. Way out there, right out in left field. This is the long shot. I don't think this is a UFO movie at all. I think this is Spielberg remaking the Alfred Hitchcock classic, The Birds. That again, I never thought that till I saw this poster. Admittedly, it is way far out there. I would not put any money on that. I'm thinking it's a remake of The Birds, or very well could be an alien abduction film of some kind. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Aura. Guys,
We're muted. Sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. So sorry, I was trying to skip past their advertisement there. But I wanted to say, if you can you see the silhouette of the bird? We'll go over it in a second, but it's like an upside down face with an eye and then the eyebrow, but then it looks like an alien reptilian at the same time. But we'll go over and I'll show you guys some pictures and interpretations of it. But pretty much everyone says that it's an alien movie. Why would Disclosure be about the birds? If it was, it's an Alfred Hitchcock remake. Why would they need to keep it so secret? I could be wrong. He could be right, but he even says it's out there, right? I don't know. I don't know. But to me, it's called Disclosure, and Age of Disclosures came out and it's top secret just for Alfred Hitchcock's movie. That's a stretch, but I could be wrong.
Wait, Rob, we got this poster now. It's adding to the intrigue and to the mystery. What do you think about the billboard? What things are you picking out of it? And what kind of thoughts do you have about this movie right now?
I have to say at first glance, this is a deep cut. I'm like Klaus Maria Brandauer in Mephisto 2. That's what I was thinking. If you've seen Mephisto, anyway, I know nobody knows what I'm talking about. But so here's what we have heard, not just the Donna Langley news, but I heard a year ago talked about it from somebody that was thought that the level of secrecy around this movie was strange. Was talking to a friend of theirs that they're casual with, their friends with, but this person couldn't reveal anything. Like there's military secret grade NDAs around this movie, because even the people that are in this movie, you would never know. They haven't like mentioned anything anywhere. There's been nothing about this movie. If you do searches on it, even if you go to like Wikipedia, it's like Steven Spielberg's untitled movie. If you look everywhere, it's so wild. And if he was remaking The Birds, why keep that a secret? That'd be interesting. If I heard that Steven Spielberg was remaking The Birds, I'm like, yeah, bring that on. That'd be cool. Why keep that a secret? You know, unless there's something.
It builds the mystery, it builds the intrigue.
But the intrigue has gone all the way back to when this movie started being made.
Yeah.
And there's other things that are very strange about this. See, John, I want to believe that Steven Spielberg has been working for disclosure to reveal the existence of extraterrestrials and UAPs and all that since he made Close Encounters in 1977. You know, he made E.T. to soften up the idea that aliens but they had to wait. They had to wait for it to permeate culture. So that's what I want to choose, even though this is probably not true either, is that Steven Spielberg's movie is how they're going to release this knowledge to the world. That the movie is so secret because it's all true.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Come on, man. No. Wouldn't that be cool if it was, though? No, I'm curious to know, because look, we just got Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report were released on 4K this week. You know, and both of those movies are not necessarily top tier Spielberg, but Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report are both great, and you can see why he's the GOAT. It doesn't matter what he's working in. Catch Me If You Can is wildly entertaining, along with Bridge of Spies. You know, he had this period where he made these movies that were not giant blockbusters, but they were all so watchable. Lincoln being my favorite of all that era. But I just think that anything Spielberg's doing, I mean, to bring him back into I'm in. And if it's about disclosure, I don't care if it's about crows. I don't care if it's the birds. Whatever it is, I will watch anything Steven Spielberg directs, because he's one of the greatest film directors of all time. The man was born understanding where to put a camera, and no one can block a scene like Steven Spielberg can. And by the way, lest we forget, John, we're getting another John Williams score out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, which is probably like the most exciting thing about this whole project to me is that we're getting that. By the way, I want to throw this out there too. Um, you know me, I don't think he's one of. I think Steven Spielberg is de facto the great.
Okay, so now they're just talking about Steven Spielberg. So let's go back to this because, like I said, very little information has been out here, even through the development of it. Let me make myself bigger. There we go. So let's just go through it. So I'm just going to show you guys some things, and I have another movie that's coming out called Mercy, and it is literally something that Elon Musk said is going to happen with AI, and I reported on it. Predictive programming. They tell you the truth in the movies. They get you used to it. This is, guys, this is a known thing. We're going to get into it, but it says billboards. It says alien disclosure is coming, and it's a movie. Billboards popping up across the U.S. All will be disclosed, teasing Steven Spielberg's Disclosure, the spiritual sequel to Close Encounters of a Third Kind, dropping June 12, 2026, with UAP hearings heating up. Yes, guys, there are alien essentially hearings that our government are doing. Congress, they keep teasing and saying that Trump is going to come out and confirm that there are aliens. This has been going on ever since the age of disclosure came out. Like, it's just ramping up because there were government officials like Marco Rubio and several others who were in this documentary confirming this. So all of this is going on. Even Russia's former president is saying that he had experiences with them. Guys, it's wild. It's wild. I'm probably do a separate video with all the things people are talking about. But anyway, so with UAP hearings heating up and government docs dropping like confetti. That's the other thing. They're dropping, declassifying all of these alien classified documents. They're declassifying them now, right now. We're having a slew of them coming at us at the same time. Is Hollywood sinking with the stars? Plant psyop or Spielberg's inside scoop? Remember Reagan's wild ET screening reaction? Will it expose the dark side, abductions, black ops, non-human tech, or just more lights in the sky? Okay. Now, this is something that someone said looks just like this because it has kind of like that coin thing going around it. It could be kind of like Vertigo if it's Alfred Hitchcock, but I think that looks pretty good. But I do see an eyebrow. I don't know. Are you guys able to see my mouse? Yeah, you can. There's an eyebrow right there. But can you see if you turn it upside down, how that's a face? That's a cheek. That's an eyebrow. That's an eye that's upside down. But it looks like an alien as well. So and then you see the outline of the bird here. I think it's like purposely deceitful. But most people believe it is that type of movie. UFO movie. Let me just see. Okay, so here's some photos. People are now this was in February, right? So this top secret movie that even executives don't know. Wikipedia, there's no information. It says photos of Steven Spielberg directing his new UFO movie in New Jersey this week with Emily Blunt and Wyatt Russell. The movie's code name is Non-View, and the title is rumored to be The Dish or Disclosure. Blunt and Wyatt were seen grasping each other's hands, embracing while filming a smoky scene at a gas station. Spielberg's sci-fi film is set to release in June of 2026. It is also rumored that UFO whistleblowers who've grabbed news headlines over the last few years are advisors on Spielberg's film. One of them is Lou Elizondo, was recently seen in New Jersey. Elizondo's UFO book, originally titled Disclosure, was released in August of 2024 via a book deal brokered by Spielberg producer Dan Farah. Farah also brokered the book deal for Ready One Player. I actually really like that movie, Ready One Player. I do. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a good movie. I've watched it several times. I don't know why. I really like that movie. It says, which was then turned into a movie directed by Steven Spielberg. Elizondo stars in a new UFO documentary premiering at South by Southwest in March. The doc is directed by Dan Farah. So that is literally the guy who did Age of Disclosure is Dan Farah, the documentary. And now this Disclosure movie, But this is back from February, right? So there's a better picture of it. And people are just trying to find clues. That's the one you guys saw. This was in March. It was a toast at Steven Spielberg. So it's just like people are filming, but there's the government is involved in it. Look, let's get this straight. The CIA UFO threat, big budget, age of disclosure. Okay, so this is talking about age of disclosure documentary is narrated by discredited counterintelligence agent Lou Elizondo. Oh, someone's okay. It is directed by Elizondo's agent Dan Farrar, who is also Steven Spielberg's producer. Features CIA Jim Semivan, CIA Gary Nolan, friend of Anthony Fauci, and CIA scientist Hal Puthoff. So Hollywood and the CIA get together and promote a UFO threat agenda, and paid sellout independent media promotes it. That's narrative control, not disclosure. I will expose every facet of the intel. Okay. All right. So this person's upset about this, but understand, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? So either they're gearing up for Project Bluebeam, which I think they have planned to get people ready for when I do believe the rapture will happen. I do believe in pre-tribulation rapture. I've talked about it before. Okay. We're not getting into arguments about it. Whatever you believe that. But that's what I believe. Okay. And so I believe that this is what this is designed for, to get people geared up, because there's going to be this event. They got to figure out what happened to all these people. Oh, well, they were taken up by aliens. That's what it's going to be. That's what the whole Project Bluebeam is for. Right. And that's going to allow them to have more control. And that's when we're going to see, this is where they're going to be able to implement, the mark of the beast. They're going to be able to do the Antichrist can rise. There's going to be wars. There's going to be confusion, craziness. People's children will be gone. Babies will be gone. Like loved ones, people will be flying in planes. The pilot disappears, or people just are on the plane and several people disappear. I think the biggest scare is going to be people's children, young children that will be taken up. And I think that is how they're going to centralize the government. That's how they're going to centralize and bring everything together. Right now, it doesn't look like, because there's going to be war and all these things, but understand, we can walk through it some more, but I just wanted to share that with you. All right. So let's move forward. I want to show you, this is the other movie that's coming out. It's called Mercy. I had not heard of it, but thankfully one of you guys in the comments told me about it. So I'm going to play this trailer. I'm going to pop off so we can just play this trailer, because I just hate, I was small in the corner and I'm just like sitting there like, oh, but I just want to show you that. So I'm still here and I'm going to pop back up right afterwards and we're going to keep going. All right.
I'm Chris Pratt.
I'm Rebecca Ferguson.
You're going to freak out when you see the trailer for our new movie, Mercy. What's that? Get me out of this chair.
Detective Raven, I'm Judge Maddox, and this is the Mercy Capital Court, a judicial system powered by artificial intelligence.
Hold on, just wait a second.
With crime rates soaring, lawmakers voted for Mercy. By acting as judge, jury, and executioner, Mercy keeps our city safe.
I shouldn't be here. I helped create the Mercy program. I'm proud to have sent the first suspect for trial here, and I will continue to send more until the message is received.
Detective Raven, I know precisely who you are. You're before this court today charged with the murder of your wife.
Oh my God.
Your guilt must fall below the 92% threshold, or you will be executed in precisely 90 minutes.
I loved my wife. I didn't hurt her.
Detective Raven, the city's municipal cloud is at your disposal. Every camera, cell phone, and database. You must gather evidence to exonerate yourself. If you are innocent, prove it.
I need to find out who killed my wife.
It's a classic crime of passion, Chris, and it all points right at you. You don't get the Mercy trial unless you're guilty.
I didn't hurt Mom, I swear to God. Show me everyone she had contact with. She was seeing someone. How's my guilt looking now?
It has risen to 98%. You just provided me with a strong motive of why you murdered her.
Good. Wow. Thank you for that.
Mr. Raven, the clock is ticking.
Tell me what Nick was up to. She was stressed about work.
She said some chemical went missing.
The estimated street value would be in excess of $16 million.
Do you honestly think that I killed my wife? Or were you just programmed wrong? I need to walk the scene. No, I have something here.
This is a terrorist's handbook.
Get out. Get out of there.
Mr. Raven, you're running out of time.
Chris, what do you got to do? There's a bomb in that truck.
It's heading downtown.
This was never about my wife. This was about me and you. Nothing! Get me out of here!
In January 23rd. Now let me share. I actually went over this in a video. What I'm about to show you, but I did not know about this movie. So thank you guys for leaving comments or giving me tips and things to look at. I tried my best to go through all of them, but this one was so relevant to me to bring this up because I talked about it. Guys, how many times have I talked about something, then it's like revealed? Like I shared that the other night. Like I will talk about something, and again, I say it not because I'm special or I have some superpower, but I just feel like truth is being revealed in a rapid pace. You may have that same experience, or maybe you've had it in the past. It's just happening to me all at once. But look, this is going to go into something. Let me show you. It says, breaking: Elon Musk eviscerates SCOTUS Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson after she argued President Trump shouldn't be allowed to fire experts from executive agencies. Now, this is important because this is also what Elon Musk has been saying. Musk wants to replace court judges with AI. And let me just say, like, I do not support Ketanji Brown Jackson. There's a lot I can say about SCOTUS, all of them. But her in particular is, it's like, what? Okay. So that's an easy, that's an easy call to make, but understand what the plan is. Again, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. They are who they are. These people are going to be elected or unelected, appointed. They're going to be who they are. They're going to do what they have to do because they are designed to bring us to the end, to bring us to an appointed time. All the things that were prophesied, even if they, they don't think it. They're all working towards that goal. They think they're working towards their agenda, but no, they're working towards God's agenda. Okay. So it says he wants to replace court judges with AI. Bad timing since his AI system Grok has been found to have a hallucination rate of 94%. I talked about that in the same video. That would mean that 94% of convictions by a Grok run judge would be incorrect. But understand, they're they're rapidly correcting these things. I had a conversation with Grok today. Maybe I'll share that sometime. But it says Elon Musk proposes an AI judge to deliver instant, fair decisions on cases, eliminating lengthy delays, costly lawyers, and procedural games in the current court system. This threatens those who profit from prolonged litigation, as true justice should be swift when facts are clear. Now, I do not love the justice system. I have done videos about the justice system, the court system, the family court system. I have in my past, I've talked about all of that. And so I do not think we have a great justice system. I don't think it's just at all for the most part. But understand what this is in this movie, right? So this movie is coming out, the trail and all these things are coming out right when they're talking about AI is going to replace judges. There'll be no need for lawyers. There'll be no need for anything. And understand, when they introduce things, it's not to make our life easier. That's what they say. That's what, like Neuralink, I think the fourth person who has ALS and they done the Neuralink. They were just reporting on it today, and how now with this Neuralink, he can move, he can do things. So they always show it as like to help this humanitarian thing. This thing is going to make your life easier. But you see from that movie trailer what that actually looks like. So it sounds good. It sounds more convenient if things were not so corrupt. yes, we would have a fair justice system. It wouldn't be prolonged and costly, and it would be fair and just. So they create a problem, and then they present a solution that's going to enslave us more. This is all through history. This is what they do. They create the problem. They make sure it is this bad, right? There are reforms and things that can happen without using AI, but no, rather than do that, no, let's just jump straight to AI because they want you so frustrated with the process. They want you frustrated with these things. And so this just looks like the utopian, the good solution that will fix all of our problems. That's how they do it. And so that is predictive programming, right? And so I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you, there's more I want to talk about. Have you guys heard of predictive programming? Which one I want to show you? Just to give you an overview of what predictive programming is. We're going to watch this because there's many of them. This is just going to have a few of them, and it doesn't have all the explanations and all the things that I've come across, but I feel like it's kind of like a brief thing to kind of gear you up if you are new to this, or if this just sounds weird or, some hocus pocus spooky type stuff, my father would say. And so this is just going to help get your mind kind of oriented towards what this actually is, and that this is a real thing. This is what they do, right? This is what they do over and over. Movies, shows, and even books, everything they do it. They do it in a way, and it is a form of mind control. It is a form of mind control that our government has invested heavily for decades, billions, probably trillions at this point in mind control. You go to the CIA websites, the things that they've declassified, the things they've allowed us to know. Okay, it shows this, but imagine the things they don't show us. They don't tell us. The things they even declassifying this information is part of predictive programming because they know what's to come, but they have to get us ready. Then they need people to doubt, and they need confusion. This is what they do. All right, so this is an entertaining video. Like I said, lays the groundwork. If you're familiar with it, you probably have seen all this before, but a lot of people are new. So I'm gonna pop off. I may pop back on, but I just feel like I'm annoying just sitting there, just looking at it. And I want you guys to be able to pay attention. So here we go.
Today, we will be diving into the world of conspiracy theories as we take a look at predictive programming. What is that, you may ask? Well, predictive programming is a theory that the government or people of power are using movies, shows, or even books to prepare us for the future. They have planned these future events and show it in the media years before it happens.
If you're a conspiracy theorist, this most definitely is the video for you. From predictions of what our world may look like one day to potential predictions of some of our most horrible and catastrophic world events, today's list is definitely going to be an eerie one as we dive into the top 10 scary examples of predictive programming. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the Hunger Games. Okay, so this one is a little different from most of the other ones on today's list, and that is because of the fact that this is an example that people believe is going to come true, but hasn't yet. The Hunger Games is based in a horrifying dystopian future where the government has way too much power and America is split into districts where there is an annual fight to the death between two sacrifices from each district for one lone victor. A great movie? Yes. A terrifying concept when thinking about it actually coming true? Also yes. Because of the immersive and captivating nature of the films, many people out there believe that it is easily distracting, and that makes the consumers less likely to be aware that we are so accepting of this potential totalitarian future. There is a belief that these movies, despite the central storyline, are telling us to cooperate, not to rebel, and that our technological advancements are going to land us in this horrible world the movie is set in. I'm not so sure about the yearly fight to the death and what people are saying about that one, though.
Moving on to number 9, we have the robot takeover. There have been a number of shows and movies that depict robots taking over the world. Rumor has it that these are to prepare us for future advancements in technology, and so that we get used to the fact that robots are now going to be like a societal norm. For example, the 2002 film Minority Report prepared us for driverless cars, facial recognition, and personalized advertising. Star Trek familiarized us with the idea of a handheld communication device way before cell phones were introduced. And shows and movies like WALL-E, RoboCop, and even Futurama are preparing us for the advancements of AI technology and robots. I mean, robots are already taking over people's jobs. These films were trying to warn us that this would happen and help us adjust to the idea so that, we don't freak out as much when it happens.
In our number 8 spot today, we have The Simpsons. The Simpsons are known for their seemingly unbelievable ability to predict the future events, but maybe something more sinister is at play? We've made a ton of lists about The Simpsons predictions already, so let's just dive into one that may be an example of predictive programming, and that is the faulty voter machines. In season 20, episode 4, which is the 19th Treehouse of Horror episode, Homer goes into the voting booth as the episode was tied to the 2008 US presidential election, and he finds that when he's trying to vote for former President Barack Obama, the machine miscounts his vote and actually gives the vote to John McCain. Well, this did end up happening in real life, but not until 4 years later in the 2012 election. In that year, a video went viral of a voting machine in Pennsylvania doing the same thing in the election between former President Barack Obama and Mitt Romney.
In our 7th spot today, we have the Ebola outbreak. Back in 2014, South Park released an episode titled Gluten-Free Ebola, which was season 18's second episode. Well, in the episode, residents of the town start to die from violent gluten-related deaths. In the same week that episode was aired, an Ebola strain was discovered and multiple people contracted the virus. In fact, people were so freaked out about this prediction that people went on saying that this is evidence of the Illuminati or something like that. Now, why would someone want us to get used to mass outbreaks like Ebola before they happen? I don't know, man. It's a form of mass mind control. Maybe it's to help relieve some of the panic so things don't get too bad, like toilet paper flying off the shelves. Too soon? Probably. It just sounds crazy, I know, but some people truly believe this. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments below.
In our number 6 spot today, we have The Knowing. In the 2009 science fiction thriller, which stars Nicolas Cage, we see a scene where he is watching the news as a horrible incident of an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico is exploding and being engulfed in flames. Well, not too long after this movie came out, in April of 2010, there was an oil rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico that claimed the lives of 11 people and was the worst marine oil spill in history, which is never a record we ever want to beat. I'm not going to lie, I haven't actually watched the movie myself, so I'm not exactly sure if that news broadcast is central to the film's plot, but if it is not, even I can admit that's a bit of a random coincidence. I would hope that something so dangerous and detrimental wouldn't have been a planned incident, but who am I to say? This is an example of potential predictive programming that has been discussed by many, many conspiracy theorists, including none other than Alex Jones himself.
We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the London attacks. In 2004, a BBC program titled Panorama, London Under Attack, was a drama documentary all about what would happen if there was an attack in London. It was all fictional, like a what if. In the documentary, they show a fake scenario where terrorists detonate 3 bombs on the London Underground and a 4th on the streets above. Well, 1 year later, this happened in real life. On July 7th, 2005, a series of 4 attacks were carried out by terrorists in London. 3 bombs were detonated on the London Underground and a 4th on the streets above, just like in the documentary. Apparently, according to some people, this documentary was conditioning us for the events that would take place on July 7th.
In our number 4 spot today, we have COVID. There are quite a few examples that people believe were predictive programming in reference to the COVID-19 pandemic we're all still living through right now. I'm at home. To start off with, we have an episode of Project Runway that aired in April of 2019.
COVID's look. Do you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed COVID's detail, this 3D applique.
Then we have the song.
I have to pause for a second because I just really want to. The guy's name was COVID. And he designed something on Project Runway to wear a mask. This was before the pandemic, guys. This is the most watched part of this thing. It shows me on here as I'm scrolling. But look at this again. I'm gonna pop off because you see how it makes it kind of. I wonder if I shrink it up, will it make it better for you? Like we can both fit. It's just I'll just keep it on here. Maybe for the next one. But is that interesting? Because you may miss that detail. His name is COVID, spelled with a K, but COVID. And he designed an outfit with a mask. There's more about COVID that was predictive programming, but that's just such a random thing. So that just shows you, even in reality shows or competition, it's not just movies, it's not just TV shows, regular sitcoms or whatever, the South Park and the Simpsons that people always talk about. But and like I said, in books and how they release things, what they put out, documentaries, but also just random shows like that. Some people say that's a coincidence, but then if we did a whole thing tying all the predictive programming for COVID, that alone would have you in a rabbit hole for what, like weeks, probably, because there's a lot to digest with every single thing. But this is the point, to overwhelm you with so many things. You can never really look at one thing and really hammer it down unless you just really make that your focus. But that's the goal, to keep us confused, to keep us distracted, to keep us just ignoring truth. They've told us that sci-fi is the lie and that science is real. That's the deception. We've talked about some of these things before. Okay, but let's continue.
The COVID-19 pandemic we're all still living through right now. I'm at home. To start off with, we have an episode of Project Runway that aired in April of 2019.
COVID's look. Do you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed COVID's detail, this 3D applique.
Then we have the song Pandemic by the artist DJ Creep. This song was released in 2013, and yet it features the lyrics, 2020 combined with coronavirus, bodies stacking. That certainly is one heck of a coincidence. And then just one more for good measure, we have the movie Contagion, which was released in 2011. This movie is quite commonly referred to as the movie that predicted COVID, and I can kind of understand why. They use the phrase social distancing in this movie, which is the first time I personally had ever heard that phrase used, and I didn't hear it again until our pandemic in real life started. Maybe we just got our inspiration from the movie, or maybe something darker really is at play.
In our third spot today, we have aliens. Do you believe in aliens? I mean, with everything going on right now with Area 51 and the Pentagon, there's a high chance that aliens or ETs might be real, okay? I don't know what to think anymore. And theory goes that all these alien shows and movies have been preparing us for this real possibility. I mean, there are thousands of shows about aliens or that feature aliens as characters, like American Dad, Paul, the series Alien, E.T., Men in Black, you get it. Even Scooby-Doo had a whole space alien movie. It was good, by the way. I love Scooby-Doo. Conspiracy theorists believe that all these alien-based shows and films and books are a way for us to get used to the idea of aliens arriving on Earth. Maybe the government is slowly trying to make us aware of aliens, and this is their method of doing so. It's their way of slowly integrating aliens into our everyday life. Either way, I don't like it, unless they are friendly and, chill. But so help me, if zombies are next, I'm done. Like, the aliens can take me with them to space.
In our number 2 spot today, we have the Illuminati card game. This game is now out of print, but originally showed up sometimes in the 90s and is called Illuminati New World Order. Despite the years it's been since the game's release, it has managed to continue to attract people's interest and honestly creates a bit of a feeling of unease due to its eerie predictions. The game seemingly predicted many major events, from 9/11 to former President Trump's election to the pandemic and even apparently the riot at Capitol Hill. The game was released by Steve Jackson Games, and while it is entirely possible that these cards are just general enough that we can tag them onto the happenings of our current world, with how many potential predictions this game has, coupled with the name of the game, it does make you think. Honestly, they may have predicted more than The Simpsons, and that really is saying something.
And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Titanic. This one is about to blow your mind, okay? Buckle that seatbelt. There's a novel from 1898 titled The Wreck of the Titan, or Futility. The book is about a giant unsinkable ship with not enough lifeboats that crashes into an iceberg and sinks 400 nautical miles from Newfoundland. What was the ship's name? The Titan. Sound familiar? You know, exactly like the 1912 Titanic tragedy, where the Titanic, a giant unsinkable ship, with 2 little lifeboats, crashes into an iceberg, and also sinks 400 nautical miles from Newfoundland? Like, dude, are you kidding me? Too many eerie coincidences there. So people believe that that book was preparing people for the future Titanic tragedy. Mind blown. I'm in disbelief. All right, guys, that's all for today's video. Make sure to comment something.
So that was just a few of these, right? There's more. And maybe I should just start doing videos like and tying things that have happened in movies and books and all of these things and tie those into real world events that have happened. Because then we're going to, like I said, we're seeing and this happen in rapid succession, all of these things converging at once. And I think if you're not really into it, if you haven't gone into it too much, you may miss a lot. And there's every day I'm finding new movies, like whether you guys mention it or I'm scrolling on social media and then I find a video, or if I'm on YouTube and I'm just like mind blown, like more and more and more. It just keeps coming out and it's coming at me rapidly. So I think it'll be fun, to kind of see this, because they tell us because they believe it eliminates their bad karma that they, but they tell us in a way that is so deceptive that most people don't see it. So I want to share this with you guys. Look at what this says. Remember what I told you? It says breaking poly-market odds on Trump declassifying UFO files in 2025 just skyrocketed to 98% overnight, from single digits to near certainty, with millions wagered. Insiders clearly know something big is coming. Trump has promised full disclosure. There's that word again. There's disclosure. Again, Age of Disclosure was the documentary. The same people working on that, working on Steven Spielberg's. The CIA is involved in his disclosure movie. And now he has promised full disclosure multiple times, but timing is sus. And those are the exact words. He promises full disclosure. There's something about that I don't know, any of you guys who do was it gematria, like can do like that, the word disclosure, what does that add up to? I don't know. With Epstein file photos ready to drop a bomb, including big names, and more mandated releases imminent under the new law, is UFO disclosure about to hit at the ultimate soft disclosure distraction. Drop aliens on us to bury elite pedo scandal. Guys, even when people think that something is, to hide the Jeffrey Epstein file, so people are distracted, everything is distracted, even that, the Jeffrey Epstein thing. It's way darker, deeper, and far stretching. Guys, the Epstein files it doesn't even scratch the surface. Even that is a distraction, because then people won't really think even bigger. They're certainly not going to think, they're doing all this because Jesus is going to return and the tribulation and all. They're not. Understand. I always bring this up because I think it's important to understand, even when people know something's a psyop, like 9/11, they'll say, and with 9/11 being a psyop, but saying we went to that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. Right. That's why that was the official narrative. That's what they told us. But then people said, no, that was a psyop. We went there because of oil. Well, even that was a psyop, because I told you at the time, and I've shown you the reports, this is a fact, that Saddam Hussein thought he was the reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar because he had found the tomb of Gilgamesh, Nimrod in the Bible. And there was a Stargate there, which is a portal. Okay, it is a portal. You may not believe in it, but they do. I always tell people this. And this is in a released CIA document. You can find this out. Tie that to CERN and so many other things we've talked about. But understand, he found and it's a circle. Okay, it's ancient technology. There is no artificial technology. There's nothing new under the sun. Either you believe what the Bible says or you don't. All their innovations and things, we had better technology in the past. I've shown you, even if you look at the buildings, I think that is the number one thing. We can't even do what they claim was done by horse and buggy and hammer and chisel hundreds and thousands of years ago. It says in the book of Enoch that we were taught technology from fallen angels. And there's been multiple resets, but another reset is coming. So understand, there's always this deception. And if you are not tuned in, if you are not enlightened, if your mind is not being renewed, if you're just consuming junk, More people know more about their sports team than they knew the word of God. They know more about celebrity gossip and drama than they know the word of God, or about things like this. And you have to ask yourself, I'm not saying, I'm not condemning people, but understand where they want your appetites, where they want you studying, things that have no meaning to your life, things that have no eternal value. It's distraction, distraction, distraction. Everything is designed that way. And I mean everything. Right? And so just understand that whatever, sorry, let me finish the Stargate. So he found the Stargate. They found out that he found the tomb of Gilgamesh, of Nimrod, who was he was half God. He was actually 3/4 God, a god, meaning a demonic being, a fallen angel, and human. Right. And we've gone over that before. But anyway, when we found that, immediately that's when we invaded Iraq, and we went directly to the tomb of Gilgamesh, that site, and built a military base around it. Now we have the Stargate project, which is the new AI data centers. The massive trillions of dollars have been spent. All of this AI has been unleashed. Trump just signed the executive order removing all restrictions off of AI from the 50 states. There's no more, guardrails. Same thing. Genesis mission was announced at the same time. Guys, these are not coincidences. They're not. Okay. And there's a reason they call it Project Stargate. So like I said, you don't have to believe in a Stargate, but they do. They believe it's a portal. Have you guys ever looked into the Miami Mall incident last year? I don't know how much I can show on here, and I don't know if I'm gonna show it tonight, but yeah. So they call in this AI data centers. They're calling this Project Stargate. Oh, and then the year after they got the Stargate, well, the Stargate movie came out, which was literally about a portal, a demonic portal, and half of it is not half of, but a large part of why they put it in movies is because it make it sci-fi. So then if you actually speak truth about it, you look crazy. You look, weird and spooky and because you believe in this, in these things, like, well, that was just a movie. That's not true. This is what they drown people with doubt. They drown people with indoctrination and propaganda. That's why many people you may try to share things with, they don't want to hear it. They call you crazy. They don't know why you keep talking about it, because their consciousness is here, and understand you are speaking in an enlightened place that a lot of people are not. They're not there. They're just they're not dead inside, but they've been conditioned to kind of like be dead mentally, spiritually, consciously. Everything is created to kill you, mind, body, and soul. They cannot kill your spirit, but mind, body, and soul. And this is why you need the Holy Spirit to give you discernment, to give you wisdom. That is the process. How many people will call you crazy, or you're wearing tinfoil? And it's like, once your eyes are open, you're just like, how are people not seeing it? Like you can literally walk someone through the evidence and they still won't see it. And then they want to avoid you, or it creates tension even in your own home, because they've been so programmed. And you have to understand, this is where you have to give grace and love. Because oftentimes the people closest to you cannot give you truth, because they see you, they know your flaws, they're used to you a certain way. So if you wake up, that's uncomfortable, and it goes against their programming. Have you guys experienced any of that? Because the brain always wants certainty, right? So it looks for certainty. So when the government, movies, everything, your entire world gives you the news gives you certainty about something, they tell you what to think. School, the American dream, which never existed. That's what people are raging. Or in America, our Constitution, the American dream, nothing's affordable. They say all these things because what they do as well, again, they create times of boom and bust. They do it to, in this time, our parents could buy a home for this amount and we can't do it anymore. They want everyone angry today. What we used to have and we can't have it anymore, as they continue to strip away rights and things. Guys, it is all part of it. Even on our money, in God we trust. They said that we were founded as a Christian nation. God. It never says Jesus. It never says Yahshua, the original names of God and Jesus. They don't proclaim Christ. They just say God. What have you ever questioned what God? Because there's an all-seeing eye. There's occult symbols in pretty much everything. Government, the medical symbol, like everything is like an occult. It's literally a brass rod with wings and like angel wings, demonic wings, and serpents wrapped around it. That's the medical symbol. But we don't go deeper. They say it's from mythology, it's from this, it's from that. Listen. The Greek gods, all the Norse gods, all those things, they are the same exact thing. Demonic beings. Demonic beings. But if your eyes start to open and you look at this stuff, you're just like, oh my. Oh my. And guys, if you have a question, like I said, I don't have a moderator tonight, so I'm gonna have to, if you have a question, you're gonna have to super chat it. I really appreciate the support. They've been trying to bury your girl in a lot of things. So let's see if I want to do this one. Give me 1 second. So we're going to switch around a little bit. I want to show you, I'll show you this that happened in Times Square as well. I gotta move things over. Let me close this out. I don't know if I'm going to play this video later, but we'll see. Look at that. So there's some music, so I'm not going to play the thing, but it says this video of Jesus Christ in Times Square in New York City has gone viral. We need more of this. So this came out immediately after that Steven Spielberg one. Is that wild? Is that wild? What did I tell you? God is revealing things to us, to you, because he's telling you, he's warning you, he's letting you know he's not going to leave you without help, without rescue. He's building your faith. That's what this is about. This is why you're going to be challenged by the people you love the most or people you try to talk to. This is why you may not fit in, why you feel lonely, why you're experiencing these things, because it's all designed to bring you to a place that you need to be. All right. But then he leaves his signs. He gives us hope. He's reassuring you. I don't know who put this up, but is that not amazing at the same time? I just thought that was not coincidence. They want us to believe everything's coincidence. All right. I'm going to skip a little bit. Actually, we'll play this. This is about, have you guys heard of the Last President, the Barron Trump book series that's from like 159 years ago? I'll play a little bit of this. This doesn't explain it all if you guys haven't heard about it, but I think it's interesting to hear.
There's something about these protests that are happening in Los Angeles that I really want to point.
Sorry, this video is from June, right? So if he's saying some things that are not current, just understand it's from June. Like that last video I showed you was like while they were in the pandemic talking about predictive programming. So you'll get clues that, okay, this is a little bit older, but still the information is good. The information is correct.
There's something about these protests that are happening in Los Angeles that I really want to point out to everybody. And it might blow your mind, or you might already be aware of it. Now, you might already know about this book, but if you don't, then I'm going to talk to you about something that sounds insane. Now, the person who wrote that book, his name is Ingersoll Lockwood, and I'll get to him here in a second, because I want to point out the plot of this one specific book. Do keep in mind, once again, it's named The Last President. 1900, or The Last President, like I mentioned, is an 1896 novel, by the way, where Americans are protesting a corrupt you-know-what process. It starts with an E. I don't really understand why you can't say the word out loud here on TikTok, but anyway, while the president's hometown of New York City, now tell me, where's his hometown at, people, is fearing the collapse of the republic after the transition of presidential power. Now, obviously, that hasn't happened, but the plot of the book is just like, Do keep in mind, Ingersoll Lockwood is also the author of Barron Trump's marvelous underground journey. Barron Trump, you say? Isn't that interesting? But here's what the book is about, right? It's also a series, by the way, if you didn't know, about the adventures of a character named Barron Trump, a wealthy boy who embarks on fantastic voyages. The story follows Barron Trump as he travels to the Earth's interior. encountering various strange underground civilizations, and the, in quotations, master of the world who plans to destroy the universe. What a book to write in the 1800s, right? There is something else that I really want to point out to everybody, so I hope that I have everybody's attention still at this point in the video, because people don't actually think about it this way. But I want to talk to you about a movie that came out just last year. Does anybody remember this movie? I'm sure you do. And if you don't, well, you should definitely go watch it and then come back to me and tell me if you think that's possible. Just try to think outside the box for me at this moment in time, okay?
All right, let me play this for you. A little bit more about predictive programming. Let's share that.
Predictive programming is the idea that our governments or our elites, for example, use things like fictional stories, movies, the media, Hollywood, to condition the general public and prepare them for a certain type of future event. In this case, you could say the cyber attacks, right? So the World Economic Forum has been warning us about it. Now we see all sorts of apocalyptic movies coming out about the potential dangers of cyber attacks. And what I'm afraid of is that this is just simply them telling us what they have in store for us next. You know, if you know what the globalist agenda is about, that it's an agenda of control, and that they love using crises to take control over our lives, well, a cyber attack is a perfect one to do it. Imagine that we say, well, you know, we need to take down the internet for a while, and it is dangerous, you know, to go on the internet uncontrolled because, look, we are prone to cyber attacks. Everybody now needs a digital identity to log onto the internet safely. You know, you have the perfect pretext to take control again over people's liberties and to monitor ordinary citizens and make their, you know, freedom of movement, even online, limited to whether or not they comply with the government.
Guys, this came out almost to the day 2 years ago. There have been people talking about digital ID and and AI and all these things going on. We just haven't been, the majority of us, a very small part of the population have heard about this. Who knew that this was coming? But there have been people, if you seek and you will find that people have. She's almost to the day 2 years ago. She's literally talking about what is rolling out now. Is that wild? Is that wild? It was all in the WEF's information, but a lot of people were saying that, oh, that'll never happen, especially in the US and all of that. Well, okay. Now, this is an interesting one. Let me play this for you. I'm going to pop off for a second, but because I got to get a new water. I've been drinking this down, so I got to go grab a new water. But listen to what is said in this. This is just an old example of predictive programming. 1981, that's when I was born. 1981. So thank you. Maybe it was destined. What if it came? I got to look up and see if it came out on my actual birthday. Would that be crazy? I doubt it, but still. But let me play this for you. And I got to go grab my water. Let me.
The people's minds to accept our solution to the world's problems. The energy crisis here in the United States was exceptionally successful worldwide, and we expect similar success with our upcoming food shortage. Our labor leaders have made great progress by causing confusion and work stoppages in all areas of the world. Financially, the dollar is being devalued even faster than we could have hoped. Politically, the public has lost total confidence in any form of government. The threat of universal war is a daily possibility. As you know, we ourselves do not need to hold any visible office of leadership. As a matter of fact, it's better that we do not. We control the finances, news media, food, transportation, energy. We control everything. It is important that you, as world leaders, keep our program before your countrymen. With our World Bank and computer program operation, we now have the capacity to control the financial affairs of every human being on Earth by giving each person his own computer number. Anytime his number is used, we would know his financial situation at once You cannot buy or sell anything without his computer number. It will simplify their lifestyles tremendously. The end result will be a one-world monetary and government system that we alone will control. Yes.
What about the people who forget their number or their cards are lost or stolen?
We've made provisions for that. By using this laser imprinter, we can painlessly and permanently affix the person's number to the back of his hand or his forehead if he so desires. The numbers would be easily read by this new ultraviolet scanning equipment. For the purposes of demonstration, I've had such a number imprinted on myself. Once this number is imprinted, it cannot be lost nor can it be changed. Now, are there any questions?
What about the individuals who refuse to have this number implantation?
We expect some minor resistance.
We expect some minor resistance. But there's a lot more. That rabbit trail, we could go on, like I told you, just forever. All right, let's talk about something else. Let's get into some more of this. Here we go. I'll just keep myself small for a second.
Did you know that they're now putting vaccines in our food? The University of California has done it in lettuce, UC Berkeley has done it in tomatoes, and RJ Reynolds has done it in tobacco products. They've been doing it with meat, rice, and potatoes for a while now.
Ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also, tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley.
The problem is that when you go to buy your groceries, they're not saying this food is vaxxed and this one isn't. How do we know that they're not deceiving us? Like when the FDA said that the mRNA shot was safe and effective. And how do we circumvent this problem? If we buy from big box stores, we know that they have Big Pharma's best interests at heart. If they didn't, how can they allow Appeal to be on the shelves? How can they allow all this refined sugar garbage to be on the shelves? So that leaves us with two options. One, we buy from our trusted local farmer. And two, if we can, we start growing our own food. If we cut sugars and seed oils from our diet, add clean water and real organic foods, we can start feeling better real fast.
And while I agree with it, but have you guys seen what's happening to farmers? They can't, because of the chemtrails, the way they've poisoned our even the soil. Like we would, again, I always said I would have to do a whole video on it. Like growing your own food, like farmers are getting decimated right now. They signed this farm bill, but again, all the information and things I'm seeing, it is absolutely devastating. Okay, because it's not just with our food and things that they poison us, just not just with vaccines and all of that, but it just with the air, the water, the food, everything they want to bioengineer. And in fact, let me show. Let's do this one. I just had it. All right, so I'll pop back up bigger. Hold on, let me see. Oops, where did I go? Hold on. Where did I go? There I am. All right, let's read through this. Oh, I'm looking a little shiny. But here it is. It says, I believe DARPA just launched the most audacious bioengineering program of the decade, and nobody's talking about it loud enough. I spent hours reading through the generative optogenetics program documentation, and honestly, I'm still processing the implications of what they're trying to build. This is about creating molecular machines that can be expressed in living cells to translate optical signals directly into DNA and RNA sequences on demand. Think about what this means. You shine specific wavelengths of light at a cell and it writes its own genetic code in real time without any external DNA delivery, no viral vectors, no CRISPR cassettes, just light triggering nucleotide. Guys, some of these things I don't even know. Nucleotide incorporation based on photon wavelength. What did Trump just say that that they now have 6G and it can see through skin and walls? But I don't think it's just for that. I think they are able now through wavelengths, okay, to deliver things and to change our DNA. This is documented. This is documented. And now I'll show you something what China has developed. It's insane, but let's keep going. This is a foundational shift in how we interface with biology, because right now, if you want to deliver genetic instructions to cells, you need massive supply chains, synthesis facilities, cold storage. He doesn't have commas and things. I think he was probably like going crazy manic right now. He's not even capitalizing something. I've been in this place where I've just found information. I just got to type it out. So bear with me. Synthesis facilities, cold storage, delivery mechanisms that break down over distance. DARPA Go wants to turn living cells into programmable biological systems where you can transmit genetic information massively via optical signals, and the cell synthesizes the exact sequence you need using its own machinery. The implications are absolutely wild. Single cell spatial resolution, temporal you don't have the comma, so let's see. Single cell spatial resolution, temporal precision to deliver different messages sequentially, remote, scalable dissemination of genetic instructions. Imagine regenerative medicine where you shine light patterns on damaged tissue and cell reprogram themselves in situ. Manufacturing where bacterial cultures synthesize complex molecules on command via optical programming. Agriculture where crops adapt their genome in response to environmental light signals. What fascinates me most is that this high-risk program acknowledges we're building a direct interface between computers that design genetic sequences and living cells that execute them. We're not just editing genes anymore. We're creating a bidirectional communication protocol between silicon and carbon where light becomes the universal language. If Go succeeds, it unlocks programmable biology at a scale we've never seen before. This is how you get to foundational capabilities for extended spaceflight, for on-demand therapeutics, and for manufacturing without brittle supply networks. This is the kind of moonshot that changes everything. But he's saying about space and all of that, but no. What do you think that this is going to be for? What do you think it's for? Why? Why is the question always? Why? No one asked for any of this. But they're always trying to become God, greater than God. That is the goal. That's the goal. So now they're able to change your DNA. This hasn't rolled out. I think this is what's going to be used on tribulation. But yeah, this is where we are. And speaking of this is something else I wanted to show you regarding, hopefully I added this in. Oh, did I not? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. China just switched on commercial 10G broadband and Hebei hitting near 10,000 Mbps, so a 20 gigabyte 4K movie can download in under 20 seconds. See, that's the convenience of all this technology. Again, there's always a convenience, something that's going to ease your life, something that's going to make it faster, more comfortable, help you out. But 10G, and Trump just said, I did the report on 6G that they're coming out. The cell towers will be 6G that can see through skin and walls. And we're hearing about this biosynthesis that they're able to change your DNA through wavelengths. It's semantics. Everything. God created the earth through God created the world in what? With light. Light. Let there be light. And now they're saying light. Wave patterns. This is how they're able to change things. This goes into so much, guys, so much foundational information that I can give you. But understand, I think I just have to set it right here because it goes deep, understanding what that is. And as I see it, I'm just like, think about it. They are literally specifically talking about light and how that creates and changes DNA. And we know that that is how God created us. That's how God created the world. The first thing he created was light, because it wasn't just a light on to see things. Those wavelengths, that God particle, that is where it is. And this is why they have CERN. We've gone over CERN before, right? I just think all of this is just so interesting. Once you tie it all together, it's just wild, the things that are coming out. And let's get into the next thing I want to talk about. Let me share this. So it says Congress is trying to ram through 18 mass censorship and surveillance bills. Call your reps and tell them no to COSA, no to Section 230 reform, no online digital ID laws, no age verification laws, no to the Screen Act, no to the App Store Accountability Act digital ID system. Now, this is Taylor Lorenz. I've had beef with her before. She's actually mentioned me, when I was doing the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and all that stuff. They kind of sent her out to kind of counter everybody and say it wasn't true, all of that. But, again, what did I tell you guys? I'm no longer on a political side. I have no animosity. I have no, right now, I just want information, and anybody who's delivering it, even voices that you wouldn't normally listen to, voices you could have had beef with or animosity, you don't know who God will use. And right here, God used her, because this popped up on my timeline and I did not know about all of these different things. So I'm not going to play the video because the guy's just kind of doing comedy about it. It's kind of a weird video, but I was like, whoa. So I started looking up what these things were. Let me show you. I literally tweeted this earlier this week. Repealing section destroys the internet. Forget age verification and COSA. Repealing Section 230 is the most dangerous thing you can do to ensure the internet is non-existent. All user-generated content would disappear. Did you know this was going on? It's kind of small, but I'll read it. It says, worse than age verification is the idea of repeating Section 230. Section 230 is the law that created the internet. It protects you as a user and prevents censorship. If they repeal Section 230, the internet could literally disappear overnight. I wish I was being hyperbolic. Okay, so we'll play this, and then I have something I want to show you. It's going to give more clarity to what all those things are.
Long last, proceeding to file a bipartisan Section 230 repeal. We've been working on that for a long time, and I think it's time now to make the decision, and people in this committee who want to join the bipartisan bill can join, and people who don't want to, they don't have to. But waiting any longer, I don't think serves any useful purpose. So I thank Senator Graham for proceeding that way. At long last, proceeding to file a bipartisan Section 230 repeal. We've been working on that for a long time, and I think it's time now to make the decision, and people in this committee who want to join the bipartisan bill can join, and people who don't want to, they don't have to. But waiting any longer.
Okay, so we get the idea, but let me show you this. So Taylor Lorenz, she shared this, and I didn't know about this. It's called Congress Say No to Bad Internet Bills. Congress wants to, because they think it's just Trump doing this, guys. What have I told you? Okay. Two wings of the same bird, two heads of the same snake, of the same beast. Every president has built on each other. There is no left and right. They get us into, guys, we were probably going to have to do again a whole video just to unpack that. But I think you're seeing that. Some people say, well, no, Obama did that, or Bush did that, or Biden did that. And it's just falling on Trump. If you do not go through the details, you can see they've all stair-stepped each other, snuck things in, done things, and it's all gotten to a point, right? This is why we don't trust in man. We don't trust in a government. We don't trust in a politician. We don't trust in a person. Where is our faith and belief in? Is in Jesus Christ, Yeshua alone. Because it was always written to end. They just gaslit us into believing that we have some type of, that America is this promised land or this safe haven, or the West is. And that's how they've kept us asleep, right? Okay, so whether it's from the left or right, understand there is only but one agenda. All the other stuff They literally create the problem so that they have opposition, and we're just fighting like roaches. Meanwhile, they're all cool. They're all cool with each other. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay? And they have us worried about things that will not mean anything. And if think about all the things people are fighting about online, all of the different things, right? Even within their own parties, everything. Imagine the digital ID, the WF 2030 plan, where you will own nothing and be happy, where they said that they're going to have universal basic income, that working will be optional, there'll be no jobs. We're seeing with the AI, like it's all to get. Imagine if that dropped, right? A pandemic, all the things they have planned, they want to reduce the population to 1 billion. All of that came out. We would all probably unite in regardless of our different factions and come together. It would all kind of like mean nothing, right? So that's what you have to think about. Those are the things you keep in mind when you think about what's going on in this world. If these things, which I have told you, are the most important things in the world, the most important things. The most important thing in the world, because this affects all of us exactly the same, and it is literally biblical prophecy. What would you do tomorrow? Digital ID, you must have it. You cannot work, you cannot buy or sell, you can't have health care, you can't get insurance, you can't pay taxes, so then they can take your property. If you can't you can't have literally telecommunications. You can't get you can't get utilities. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay taxes. Think about the implications of what they do if you can't do that. You can't own a gun because it all has to be tied to your digital ID. What if that just dropped? And to get on the internet, you have to have your digital ID. That you're only allowed to eat a size of red meat, this size, guys, like this size. That is what you're allotted through your carbon, which your carbon allotment of real meat, beef, red meat, is this for a week, not a day, not a meal, a week, because the goal is to bioengineer all meat. Imagine that drop tomorrow, that you have to have vaccinations. Your children cannot go to school. You can't homeschool anymore. You don't have choice. This is all laid out like in their plan, what I'm telling you. So imagine if it all dropped tomorrow. Would you care about a lot of the stuff you care about right now? They say all jobs are being eliminated by AI. By 2030. That's the goal. And it's moving faster than they thought. So somebody need to hear. I wanted to put that out there because somebody need to hear that, because that really wakes you up. That really elevates it, because I say tomorrow, but understand this is our tomorrow. This is our tomorrow without a doubt. Are you living like it's tomorrow? Are your eyes open? Are you awake? All right. So it says Congress wants to hand Trump even more power for censorship and surveillance by passing dangerous internet bills that attack Section 230 and require online ID checks. This has been rolling out around the world. Australia, I brought those reports. Tell Congress they can't pretend to stand up to the big tech while taking our rights away. Well, they just removed all restrictions on AI. Did you know that all of these things? Let's look at it. And let me just say, I'm not joining a protest. I'm not doing a resistance march. If that's what you're looking for, good luck. Good luck with that. You're not going to be able to stop anything. You're not going to be able to stop a single thing. Be able to give you a little something, make you feel a little like you did something. You get a little hope. But this is rolling out worldwide and in the US all at the same time, because they're not going to do it because you do a little protest. You're going to vote differently. When they said you're not going to vote again, they meant it. When they said Trump will get a third term, that's what they meant. And whether you like that idea or not, understand That is upending everything. Now, I don't know if we'll vote in midterms, but I certainly don't think we'll vote for a president again. I know we won't. They've said it. It wasn't a joke. That's predictive programming. Everything's a joke. Everything's AI. That's fake. That's dunking on the libs, dunking on the right, whatever. You were warned. They told you the truth. We just don't believe it. So listen, let's go through these. Section 230 protects free speech online. We already read a little bit about it. So threats by Trump, I hate when I say threats by Trump. Again, this is kind of like a leftist thing, but understand the information is correct. But it's not just Trump, it's the government, it's all of the presidents. Everything's been leading up to this. Doesn't matter who's sitting in the White House. It doesn't. So threats by Trump and Congress to sunset Section 230 would end online free expression as we know it. Section 230 is a legal compromise that protects platforms from lawsuits over third-party content while still allowing them to engage in content moderation. Let me see. Without it, platforms will be forced to choose between acting as publishers, allowed to pick and choose what they host, but legally liable for whatever they publish, and anything goes platforms unable to engage in even basic spam mitigating content moderation. Regular people will be unable to post on publisher curated websites and would have their voices drowned out by scams and hate speech on unmoderated platforms. No, I think it'll be crawling with propaganda. Online ID checks. This is all legislation in our government right now. Some things have already been done. Like they don't really need the laws, but they, I've walked you through that. But did you know all of this is going on and nobody's talking about it? Nobody's talking about, no, we're arguing about who's in our government. It's always been this way. You're just opening your eyes and waking up and seeing it. But while all that fussing and fighting is going on, this is the real threat. This is where we really are. Online ID check laws combine surveillance and censorship. These laws, adopted by 19 states, require residents to provide sensitive information such as driver's license or face scan simply to access websites and apps. ID check systems are vulnerable to hacking, putting this sensitive data at risk. Unreliable and biased facial recognition technologies can deny residents of these states access to large sections of the net. Requiring a website to implement an online ID check discourages users from interacting with it, harming both users and content creators. These bills allow the government to limit access to reproductive health care information in online LGBTQ communities. The Screen Act promises to bring these requirements to the entire country. Even in their thinking, it's just, it's all about healthcare and LGBTQ community. Understand the information is good, but understand where their focus is. They're still distracted. They don't. You see what I'm saying? Because they're fighting in their flesh. They think they're doing something. They're still in this left and right propaganda. They're still. But let's say LGBTQ. So that's really going to get people fired up. No, tell people the truth. Tell people the full truth. Everybody, no matter who you are, what you believe, everybody. This cage is coming down on you. Doesn't matter. COSA claims to make kids safer, but it's really a dangerous censorship bill that will give the government unprecedented control over the internet. This would put youth in danger by preventing them from accessing potentially life-saving resources. Lawmakers concerned about online safety should reject COSA and instead work to protect all internet users from abusive tech companies by passing federal data privacy law. The Screen Act would instate nationwide age verification requirements for websites that lawmakers deem harmful to minors. But far from promoting safety, it would force websites to contract with shady third-party verification companies to collect and store incredibly sensitive identifying info, like our driver's licenses and passports, in insecure databases. With backing from far-right, I'm going to say all politicians, right, and conservative anti-porn groups, it's clear what this bill is really intended to do: censor our access to the internet while collecting our data in droves. I have to keep saying left or right, like please wake up, people. Please wake up. Please don't fall into that trap. That's what they want. They want you there. Please be enlightened. Go higher. Go higher, right? Take It Down Act. This bill would require platforms to remove non-consensually distributed intimate imagery within 48 hours of notice by a user, but provides no exception for encrypted private messages. This means companies will be required to abandon end-to-end encryption so they can read and moderate your DMs. The bill also has no safeguards against false reports being used to remove protected and already often censored. Oh my gosh, if they're going to, I'm not getting into all that stuff. Trump himself has already signaled how this will be wielded against anyone who opposes him in exposing the flaws of this approach. So your DMs, remember, AI is already learning. I brought you those videos on your DMs. Nothing will be private. Right now, the EU is proposing they want to now be able to have access to everyone's text messages. That every phone will come built in with this government software, spyware, that cannot be removed, so they can monitor your phone. I wish I was joking. We did the video, and just because it's the EU, guys, it's coming here. Did you know all this? We've talked about this in other countries, but this is currently what's going on here. The Earn It Act of 2023. Under Biden, threatens to undermine online encryption by punishing companies that provide encryption services and by repeating the same mistakes as a previous bill called SESTA FOSTA, and it would lead to widespread internet censorship and crackdowns, oh gosh, on marginalized communities, on everybody. Okay, we're all marginalized. If you're living here on Earth, you're a marginalized community. If you're not one of the elite, you're a marginalized person. Color, gender, none of it matters. When Earn It was previously introduced in 2020 and 2022, it was shelved in the face of overwhelming public outcry and opposition from human rights groups. Now lawmakers are introducing Earn It for the third time, hoping to pass it and break the internet while we're distracted. Guys, even people that I don't even agree with everything they're talking about. Again, the information is good, but their agenda is it's small. But I keep talking about being distracted. I'm sorry. It's just, I told you, every time I start to talk about something, God just confirms it for me. It's a good feeling. It's not because I was right. Understand, it's not about that. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, but it's like, you told me to speak on it. And then then you reveal all this stuff to me, even after I've been saying it. It just gives me reassurance that we're on the right path. We're on the right path. You listening to this, that means you are on the right path. You are hearing, you're seeing, you're awake. And I think that's wonderful. The Cooper Davis Act is a misguided attempt to address the public health crisis caused by fentanyl in many communities in the US. The bill does more harm than good, opening the door for increased surveillance of messaging and damaging encryption that ensures digital security online. Another Earn It Act copycat bill. More surveillance will not solve public health crisis. End-to-end encryption is not a public safety threat. Secure private messaging protects people's privacy, and it should be protected. Guys, my lips are so dry. I gotta put a little gloss on. Look at this. I'm just laughing at it because it's wild. Age gating bills. Regressive states across the country are taking away teenagers' online rights. It started in Utah with 2 laws that create a mandated social media bedtime and gives parents complete control over their kids' accounts, messages, and passwords. Utah lawmakers claim their curfew and control bills help children, but these bills actually make children less safe by increasing state and parental surveillance. Well, I think there should be full parental surveillance. But understand, when they talk about protecting kids, they're never protecting kids. It's so they can backdoor things. What they did with digital ID in Australia, they said to get on social media, people are under 16 can't use social media anymore, right? That just passed. But what it does is makes it so people have digital ID. They have to prove that you are over 16. See how they backdoor that? And now, not just social media, on the 27th of this month of December in Australia, to get on the internet, to use the internet, you have to prove how old you are. How do you digital ID? Okay, so anything that's like for safety and all that stuff, There's other ways to do it, but this is what they're choosing. And it really takes away the rights of parents. But they say parents can surveil and look at the parents have apps and things. They can do that now. Why do we need the government to do that? I understand where this is going to be far reaching. So your children will be surveilled. It's one thing if you as the parent do it, but now the government has access to everything your child is. Your child could be an absolute angel. That's not the point. That's not the point. Okay, so parental surveillance and restricting access to community. To make matters worse, legislation like this is spreading. Arkansas has passed a copycat bill. Louisiana and Texas are trying to follow Utah's lead, and it's being introduced federally in Congress. Stop CSAM. Stop CSAM wouldn't actually stop CSAM. Instead, it would make CSAM cases harder to prosecute. What is CSAM? Hold on. Some of this is new. Child sexual abuse material. Okay, like children being harmed. Okay, Geppettos, I'll say, because there's certain words I'm trying to keep from being censored. PDF file. Okay, material. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're picking up what I'm trying to throw out. Instead, it would make CSAM cases harder to prosecute, like SESTA and FOSTA before it, while reducing privacy protections in ways that will harm vulnerable people. Like Earn It, Stop CSAM undermines end-to-end encryption, a technology that's vital. Please do not. LGBTQ plus youth. This is all youth. Survivors of interpersonal violence and stalking. Abortion seekers and providers and activists. Weakening E2EE as a means to funnel more information to law enforcement also sets an alarming precedent for government surveillance. All of us, including children, need to be able to communicate in the digital age without our conversations being spied on. All right, so we came to the end of it, but these are just the ones they're highlighting. This isn't all 18 that are going on, but these are the ones, that fit their agenda, but their agenda is weak. Now let me sorry guys, I looked at everything. I'm here. I'm just rolling with it because let's see. Do I want to? I did that one. There's something I want to show you. Oh, there's so much I wanted to talk about. Actually, we can go to this. I talked about this woman before. Okay, so the WEF, which we're part of, and the Great Reset. Many people I'm seeing now talking about a Great Reset. Even Glenn Beck, he's been talking about this nonstop. But it says the Great Reset, aka the Great Lie. Why is this notion of a Great Reset so hard for many to believe? It is very real. It is adversarial to our American way of life, and it is adversarial to the national sovereignty as well as the culture of most societies around the world. And someone is just like asking Donald Trump, what are you going to do? All right, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to pop off. But I'm going to play this for you guys. I actually mentioned her in a video. We probably have to do a whole thing about everything she talked about. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys on the screen. I'm going to pop off. Yeah, that should be good enough.
You are an outspoken whistleblower. You've called out the Davos elite.
Our old systems are not fit for the 21st century. We need a great reset.
How did you get to a point where you helped build the WEF's Great Reset?
In 2020, I get my dream job. So I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer at Deutsche Bank. When I was there, that's when I see the fraud. Everything is a marketing scam. The bottom line is this. We cannot issue this annual report. This is a legal living document. It is filled with lies. And a couple of weeks later, I was fired. And the next day, the annual report came out. with all the lies. They don't just fire me. They go on this horrific smear campaign. Within 2 days, the US authorities call me up, the SEC, the FBI, and the Department of Justice. And they ask me,
You're going further and say they're controlling the world.
the WEF is huge. Its tentacles affect every part of your life. This isn't stakeholder capitalism. This is socialism. They're lying to the public. They've manufactured a climate crisis. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industrial complex. The Davos agenda is much more than just net zero. The Davos agenda is about...
Desiree, I should ask, did you ever meet Klaus Schwab?
Yes.
Anything to say about it?
Truthfully,
Okay, I am here. I just wanted that to be big on the screen. Let me make this smaller because I want to show you something else.
You are outspoken whistle.
We're going to have to go over things that she's talked about before. I'll just keep myself small so I don't have to keep going back and forth, guys. You guys know what I look like. I'm on half the time I don't even show up. Oh, I'll just pop this in, guys. Yeah, just in. Israeli intelligence claims Iran is the prime suspect in the Bondi Beach attack. I have not covered that yet. I don't know if I am because, again, I think it's distraction. Everything is working to move us towards a certain goal. But understand this signals war. I'm going to do a whole war video, all the things that are going on. It's insane. If you have not, there's so much information. It's hard to even keep up with Venezuela. There's things going on with Taiwan, with China, with Japan, with Russia. It's mind-numbing, and it's hard to get all the centralized information unless you really, really follow it. But then there's 1,000 other things to follow at the same time. So I just wanted to pop that in that I told you we're headed to war. This was predicted. This is what we know. World War III. Many people are talking about the Economist magazine with the elites run by the Rothschilds and the 13 families. This is their magazine. We did a whole breakdown that was featuring tanks and war and the breaking of the currency. Somebody just mentioned BRICS. I will pull this up. Yes, I know about BRICS. Oh, and thank you. I have a member here. And thank you, Mary Murphy. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much for the super chat. But let me show you this question. It says, Melanie, have you heard about the BRICS new currency? Yes. There's going to be some announcements rolling out. Russia is very upset because of what we're doing with crypto, because it essentially will devalue our debt. There's just, that is very detailed, but we're moving to all digital currency. This is worldwide happening. This is happening worldwide, guys. And we are no exception. I keep telling you that. Don't think you're protected because you're in the United States and that's not going to happen. All right. And guys, I always say we're not going to talk about specific countries and all of that. We're not here for that. We're here for a higher purpose and to get into the real details that they're not really telling you about. Right? That surface stuff about the government, who's here, what they're doing, all that. And in fact, let me play this. This is I gotta make it smaller. It's too big right now. Oh, you know what? It's telling me I gotta refresh my entire browser because it's lost sound. So hold on. Let me pull this back up. I hate when it does that. This system makes me so mad. Okay, it pulled everything back up into one thing. All right, perfect. I think this is it. Whoa, what was that? Let me know if you guys can hear it because it told me sound was dropped from this thing that I want to show you. Let's share this one. Hopefully you can hear it. And let's make this, let's make it like that. All right. Now, this is a woman who was testifying, right? There was testifying about what, in 2023, what they were planning, what is to come, right? Now, this clip is going viral because no one paid attention to these things. But they tell you, and this whistleblower said what's going to happen, and it's everything that we've talked about. This was in 2023 that this came out. But now people are paying attention because we're seeing those pieces being put in place. We're seeing it all coming together. The planned pandemics, we've played those videos. They've told us about the vaccines coming out. They're even putting the vaccines in our food, our water, all legally. They don't have any stumbling blocks to be able to do these things.
We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO directorate and the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts, provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
Now, I know it was hard to hear. I tried looking for the original of this. I did, guys. I could not find it. I will keep searching for it because I want to do a whole video about it. But he told the whole thing. But they published that this is the agenda. But we're not part of WF. We're not part of WHO anymore. We've given billions, guys. We're implementing the same things here. Like you've got to wake up before it's too late. Okay, you have got to wake up. There's a reason why you're seeing this. You may not like it. It may make you uncomfortable. It does for me at first. But after a while, it settles in and you realize what it is. And you're called. Like I said, some people, they react with, well, we're going to resist. And then if you're like me, I just know there is no resistance. They have designed this as a digital prison that we cannot escape from. But there is one escape, I told you. I told you what it is. This is the wake-up call a lot of people need because they know they have not been living a righteous life. They know that they are a sinner. Whether you said a prayer before and you believe that you're saved, or whether you just never believed in all that religious stuff, whatever it is what it is. You are a sinner. You are. Accept it or not. But one day every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. And I know that bothers a lot of people. You may say it's my religious beliefs, but all of this was predicted in the Bible. It just was. I don't know what to tell you. I wish I could lie to you and tell you it's all going to be all right and you can resist and this won't happen. This is what is going to happen. Is there a government that's going to save you? Is there a politician that's going to save you? Voting's going to save you? You really believe that? You have literally left with no options, either distraction or truth. That's where we are now. We're in a crossroads. It's either distraction or truth. And this is the truth. And I'm only speaking like this because I love you. Do you know what's about to happen? Do you know the destruction, what is about to happen in our world? Everything that you've known is going to be turned upside down. They told us this. There's no more games to be played. You need to get right with the Lord. You know it. That is the only way. Like, this was all predicted. And I'll say a quick note really quickly. You guys know I believe in tribulation rapture. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do a whole video. I think the other guy I showed you the other night, we're gonna do a whole live stream about it. But this is one thing I will say. A lot of people say, well, no, we have to go through it because we're going to be persecuted, and that's part of it. As I was thinking about this today, I just said to myself, we're going to go through persecution. I've laid out that no man knows the hour, no man knows the day, but if it's mid-tribulation or post-tribulation, then we would know, because that's in a precise 7-year period. But then also I talk about where people who are keeping God's covenant, those who are called, those who are answering the call, those who are walking by faith, he always rescues them. Noah, the Hebrews during Passover, even when with all the plagues that came out. Okay, so Noah, who's the other one? Why Lot? Like over and over and over, we see that this is what God does. And understand the persecution comes from a person, comes from man, right? Tribulation is God's wrath, and then the final judgment at the end. So a locust that God unleashes to feed on your body, but you cannot die. You will want to die, but you can't. That's not persecution. That's not a man doing something. The beast system, that's not persecution, being martyred. There will be people martyred during that time because they believe in Christ and they refuse to take the mark of the beast. Those will be those martyrs, but we will be gone. But persecution comes from others. This is a worldwide, no matter what, like plagues, things coming down, all the water turned into blood, or either wormwood turns the other water bitter and you'll die from it. That's not persecution. That is the wrath of God. There is a huge difference. To compare God's wrath to what man can do to you. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Like that, God has encouraged us about persecution. We've seen martyrdom. That is so small to even compare that to what is going to happen. I don't think people are understanding the difference. And do you know, only one time in Revelations is the word persecute used. And depending on the Greek translation, it can also mean to be pursued. But you know what it's talking about? It's not talking about people facing persecution at all. It's literally, I believe, a demon, a pregnant woman that will be in the clouds. And it says that she will be pursued, like persecuted. That's it. It says nothing about being persecuted. It talks about martyrs, those who come, someone who sees this video after I'm gone and they come to the full realization of Jesus Christ, or you've already seen it and then you see these things happening. And then it says that you will have to find a cave to hide. Woe to pregnant women during this time. That's God. That's persecution. Woe to pregnant women. Huh? And this is why you have to get in your word. It makes no common sense. It is not the God that I know, the word that I read. God is warning me and telling me to speak right now, all because he wants me to go through his wrath and final judgment, even though I'm saved and preaching. Like, what? People are not understanding because you don't fear the Lord. What we know right now, it does not compare 200 million hell riders, Satan's hell riders. That's persecution. Do you hear what I'm telling you? There is a difference. And nowhere in Revelations does it say we're going to be persecuted, nor any prophecy related to the tribulation says it. Because our thinking as man is so small, we are actually comparing what a person, what the government, what man can do to us compared to God's wrath. That's Antichrist belief. You're saying God is not more powerful than man. That he wants to persecute us with locusts feeding on our body, giant locusts feeding on our body, but we cannot die. We don't have water to drink. It just turns to blood because we're just so wicked. What? Then what was the point of Noah? What was the point of salvation? What was the point of any of this? We're just going to find, we get to go to heaven. But he said that he would not leave us here to suffer that wrath. But I believe a lot of people believe like that don't know the love of God. You haven't experienced the love of God. Yes, he will bring his wrath, but he brought his own son to die on the cross to pay for our sins. He has held off as long as he could so that as many souls can be saved. That's a loving God. But there is an appointed time of judgment. There's an appointed time of his wrath. Jesus, the point of it was to save us, not just from hell, but from his wrath. Nowhere are we finding an end times prophecy that we are persecuted. You will be martyred because that's just what it is. But you're literally warned. You're told, but you won't be persecuted. These things were designed and set up by God because he is judging the sin of this world. And those who refuse to believe in him, you will be left to suffer that wrath. He loves us so much, he's warning us. Now, believe what you want to believe. You want to go through that wrath, Godspeed. And we'll find out who's right. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter when it comes to salvation. But for me, I think it does matter in terms of experiencing the love of God and understanding. I'm not some theologian. I went to Christian school my whole life, went to Christian college. I've learned a lot, but I don't know. I think a lot of people's belief systems or what they believe about this, like you really got to look into this. You got to really study it because I would be terrified if I was going to go through tribulation. They say, well, God will just protect his own. But no, it says that you're going to have to go hide in a cave. You won't have water to drink. Woe to pregnant women. Huh? That's God's protection. That's his warning that if you're here during that time, how is that protection? It says that essentially the Holy Spirit will be removed. What keeps this evil from coming forth right now, the Holy Spirit will be removed so that this wrath can pour out. It says the hearts of men will turn cold, bitter immediately. Immediately. There will be a wickedness, all sins, all types of things. We talk about child abuse now. Do you know what's going to happen with child abuse? Did you know in China, this is globally, but in China, there's reports. I was looking at one earlier where they literally, guys, Xi Jinping was caught on a hot mic talking about this, and it just like shook the world. If they throw so much at us, so many people didn't see it. I missed it, but I just look at the report. But essentially, their goal is to live longer. I keep hearing 150 years, 150 years. Larry Ellison talked about it. They now have the capabilities to live up to 150 years. This is also the same thing they're saying in China. So what they do is a lot of women are being trafficked in order to, a lot of people think that organ harvesting is just, they grab just random kids or random people and see if they're a donor match and all of that. But that's tricky. That's costly. That's very hodgepodge. It's not technology driven. But now they have the capability, and what they've been doing, And you're seeing all these like Chinese celebrities, even celebrities here, how they look youthful, how they look young. It isn't just adrenochrome. I'm not going to say certain words. So what they do instead is traffic women, and they essentially become breeders. And they use this through IVF, in vitro fertilization. Sorry, guys, if I stumble a lot with this part because I'm so disturbed by it. I'm just, and I want to be careful with the words I use. So this traffic woman will then put multiple embryos in her, right? Of this politician, of this celebrity, of the elite, whoever can afford it, right? And what they do is, whether it's one that's viable or maybe if they implanted them with 2 or 3, all of them, what they do is they immediately C-section. They don't even let the woman give birth. They immediately C-section the baby out, take the baby and harvest the organs and they use the sperm of that elite person. If it is a woman, they will use the egg so that it is more likely to be a match. And infant organs have a much higher success rate, right? They adapt much better to the body. And then if it you'll have a much better match, like the percentage is astronomical. And so because that's part of your own DNA. And so they will harvest that from the baby to put it into them. And it makes them youthful. Guys, this is literally, this isn't conspiracy theory. This isn't some far-fetching thing that I'm talking about. This is real. And you think that's just happening in China? Now imagine that, and what we know about child sex trafficking, all these different things that happen, the evil that happens now. Now imagine during tribulation, what that's going to look like. I played a video the other day where they're now arguing in the UK about euthanizing pregnant women, killing pregnant women, that it's moral and just. These are the dark times we are in. Now imagine when God's grace, the Holy Spirit is removed from this earth, that holds back that evil from the complete evil. Any goodness, any morals, anything that people have, that will be removed. That is not martyrdom. That is not persecution. That is God's wrath and final judgment coming at the end. Okay, so there's more I want to talk about. I'm going to do in the next one. I'll read this to you because it's been on your screen and I kind of went on a tangent, guys. You know, sometimes I go on my tangent. Widespread devastating flooding right now, primarily across 3 U.S. states of Washington, Montana, and Oregon. People are having to evacuate. Legacy media aren't giving this anywhere near the amount of airtime it deserves. They never do. Guys, there's protests in every country right now against the government. There are different governments, digital ID, all these things going on. There are tsunamis, earthquakes, seismic activity. I wanted to get to, what's his name? I play his videos all the time. I can't think of his name. The one to show us about 3-Eye Atlas and Stefan Burns. Talking about unprecedented seismic activity that's going on. There's things going on in the sky. Like he has a whole report. I think I'll do it tomorrow. But all of this stuff is taking place. The birth pains of the earth are taking place. Predicted in the Bible. Predicted in the Bible. It says that this will happen. And why are they suppressing that? With all the other things we've been talking about. It's just a coincidence, guys. It's just a coincidence. The Bible isn't real. That's just some spooky religious stuff. Melanie, you've gone off the deep end. Your tenfold is tenfolding. Okay. Good luck with that. Legacy media aren't giving us anywhere near the amount of airtime it deserves, as hundreds of thousands of Americans are impacted, homes and businesses destroyed. Scientists will inevitably blame climate change. It's not. Again, there is something nefariously sinister about this. Let's play it. Oh, they're not talking through it. I forgot. This is just showing some of the flooding going on. So I'm going to do a whole report tomorrow, but I just want to show you what's going on. There's people on TikTok, people posting videos. They're having to evacuate. Look, have you guys seen all of this? that's happening. Yellowstone's super volcano, which would darken, guys, it would darken the skies all over the world. The fallout would hit every part of the US. There's some little safe zones, which elites like Bill Gates have been buying the properties that are in the safe zones. How many more signs do we need, right? Right? But the good news is we're going home soon. Be encouraged. Stay encouraged. As I bring you this news, it is not to scare you, but to prepare you. Prepare your heart. You need to get right. I don't know which other way to tell you guys this. Everything else is a distraction, and I do not want you to suffer that wrath. I don't want your children to. But it's all converging at the same time. Around the world, we are seeing these signs and wonders. We're seeing prophecy fulfilled right before our eyes. But it's up to you to believe. I can't make you. I just have to speak what God tells me to speak, because I'm going to be held accountable if I don't. It won't get as many views. It won't get as popular. But who cares? Who cares? Who cares? At one point, everyone will be talking about this. If you're allowed to. The censorship, the prison we are about to be in globally. Even the traveling now, like they're all building this up. So it's not to keep people out, it's to keep us locked in where we are. War is about to break out. The currency the dollar is going to completely collapse. The stock markets, everything is converging. There'll be no jobs, they say. It's already happening. Complete sectors are getting wiped out by AI. Trade jobs are going that way too. Everything that they've taught you to rely on is going to be removed. Every freedom, all these protections but this is always where it was supposed to land. No matter who you voted for, no matter what happened, we were always supposed to be here at this moment. All of these things were supposed to take place at the same time. How is that possible? We've never seen it. I'm seeing expert in different fields, different places, saying this is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. This is insane. I've never seen it. We've never seen this. We've never experienced this. This has never happened before. Yeah. I bet it. Yeah, it hasn't. It hasn't. Because things are getting ready. You're going home soon. But you need to be reassured that you are. Believing in Jesus Christ, that you are a sinner, that you are a sinner. And without believing in Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for your sins, paid the price for your sins so that you would not have to face this wrath. Paid the price, died on the cross, rose again 3 days later, ascended into heaven with the Father. And when he returns, he gave us time to believe in him. He gave us time to serve him. He gave us time to live by faith, to walk by faith and not by sight. And you are actually blessed to hear this message, because many have died and many will die without this opportunity. It's a blessing you are finding out. There's a reason your mind won't let you pull away. Even if you don't believe in all the Bible stuff, there's a reason why it's drawing you, why it's pulling you. You hear the truth. You know these are facts. It's not just spooky Bible stuff, religious things. No. It's tying into real world things. This is him saying, I love you. Wake up right now. I'm returning. I'm returning. And we will be with the Lord. We will not be left to suffer this wrath. So guys, I appreciate everybody that's here tonight. I appreciate, Jordan, I see you. I see you, Alex Watt. I appreciate you guys a lot. You know, everybody, you know, whether you hear these words, whether you believe it or not, I still love you. I want you here. We'll give this information, but you guys know, I got to be the strict mama. I have to speak these words, whether, you want to accept it now or not. You have free choice. You have free will. But it is my job to plant that seed. And hopefully at some point, you know, it's going to hit. It's going to wake you up. Whether you think you believe you're saved, really, I think my calling is lukewarm Christians, because I was for a long time. God had to do. He smacked me, poured the bucket of ice water on me while I was asleep, and said, "You better get your butt up. It's go time. You don't have any more time to waste. Stop playing games. What you thought wasn't going to happen, well, here we are." All right. And it scared me at first, but and that's what had me dig deep. I remember the first time that I got scared. The first time that I was really, I think something hit my stomach. It was not right. And it was that time when Trump said we wouldn't have to vote again. And it hit my spirit. It was like, there's some truth coming out right now, but I drowned it out. People said it was a joke. It was all that. So I dismissed it because we're always looking for certainty and we don't want to believe the worst. But when he said it, and since the time, as I was reporting on like politics and things, things were just like, and then I saw it like, and it has nothing to do with Trump, guys. Understand, he's just an instrument of all these politicians. Everybody's just an instrument, right? So I wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? I don't care who. There's things, Biden, Obama, we can go down the list. But it was like, but I ignored it because I needed to. I wasn't ready. But then as I started seeing more things, and then I would say the next thing that really just, as soon as I heard about digital ID in the UK, I said, that is the beast. We are in the end times. And I reported a little bit on it, but I wasn't fully ready to go there, because I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I didn't know how people would react. And I never really talked that way before. And I never really spoken this way. But I'm at a point where I don't care. I don't care. It is what it is. But I felt it in my spirit. It was like my stomach started hurting. And I knew that this was the beast system, the mark of the beast. And I remember I was praying because more things were coming to me. I didn't know what to do. I was in panic and nervous. And then this is why I always mention Ashley Hayes on TikTok. I came across a video on hers. I was scrolling. I had prayed, and it was this encouragement. She was talking about these things, and and it was just right there. And it's been a process since that time. And I don't know. As you know, he's revealed his truth to me. And I told you guys today was a heavy day for me. Just some of the things I'm seeing. I think what really weighed me down, honestly, was like just seeing like the harvesting the organs, growing children, just to babies, just to take their organs so that these people can live longer and be more youthful. It's such wickedness. We talk about abortion, but think about how wicked this is. And if you don't know, when we talk about portals, do you know a woman's womb is a portal? God deposits a soul and grows that soul in a woman, a portal. Actually, ancient belief was this. Civilization, they believe that a woman's womb is a portal. If people understood that more, if they understood that they are literally, this is God's mechanism to deliver a soul into this world, that he entrusts you with that child as a ministry, whether it inconveniences your life or not. You understand, that's a portal. Do you know how many people would stop just having sex just randomly, knowing that you are bringing a soul into a physical body here on earth? That's an enlightenment stage. It takes and we'll get into some of those things about wisdom, that it is God's wisdom, but I don't know how many people have thought of it like that. But that's literally what it is. That is his mechanism to bring new life to this earth. A being, a soul that was with him to this earth for a purpose. But because we're consumed by lust and all these other things, and they've conditioned us to devalue life, devalue a child. We just see it as just as biological, as just cells. No, it's a portal. This is why God said children are a blessing. Woe to those who harm children. And look at what they're doing when this little soul comes to earth. I don't even know if they medicate them so it doesn't hurt. These are full-term babies. And when you think about it like that, think of how wicked we are. And we just know this is just, we're in an age of information that we are able to find out a lot of these things. But think about what we don't know that they're doing. Think about what we don't know, guys. But it makes perfect sense in human knowledge. Well, yeah, if I want a perfect organ match, well, then I need to have a baby. I mean, if it's my DNA, my egg, my sperm, and then we put it into this woman, and then it would be most likely a perfect match. And then they will continue to do it if they don't even need organs to have fresh blood, draining their body of the old blood and getting fresh baby blood. This is happening all around the world. China just, Xi Jinping on a hot mic. Is that wild? But do you hear people reporting this and talking about it and thinking about it? No. Let's be distracted with all this other stuff. How horrible is that? How many people are protesting it? How many people are talking about that? These celebrities, when you're seeing them look all fresh and new, that's just plastic surgery, guys. That's just a little tightening up. All right, guys. So I appreciate you being here. Let me read this super chat. It says, what is it? Yoshi K. Thank you. It says, been listening to you on and off. Thank you for motivating me. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate that, guys. But we've been here a long time. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know if I'm live stream tomorrow, but I'll definitely be putting out videos, but I'll let you know if I'm a live stream. But with that, have a good night. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow.